Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Steins Gate 0, Season 1, Episode 3. Last episode, we took a deeper step into the potential horrifying reality that is this world line. Again, like we talked about last episode, I was kind of caught off guard and thinking that things couldn't really have a level of tense without the ability to travel between world lines, but that has been completely overcome by the thought of AI.
We're in a very uncomfortable, intense place here.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know.
And it has nothing to do with world wars and time machines.
I think I felt better when I was like, okay, this AI Kurisu is in a room on a computer. But the idea of being able to like FaceTime is something totally unsettling.
It's almost intrusive. Like, there was this almost a comfort to know that Okabe could decide to go into that room. He could maybe, get himself in the correct mindset that he needed to be in, to go in there and to converse with this AI. But to know that Kurisu can basically, call and text him.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is almost intrusive in a way of, he can't necessarily... He can't have himself on guard at all times, right? He can't always be prepared. Because obviously he wasn't, and how much we get that emotionally what that FaceTime call does to him at the very end of last episode.
I would love to see Daru's reaction to it. It's like, oh, you've coded and made, you've used your college skill to make a personal desktop girlfriend version of Kurisu. That's not even cool. Like that's the line that Daru would have to be crossed. I don't know. Any expectations going in?
I feel like it's only gonna get more heartbreaking, and he's only gonna get closer to AI Kurisu. And I mean, okay, if I'm gonna say positives, things I'm excited for, I'm excited to get to know Maho better.
That's fair. Same. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. It's a big party. Cosplay comrades. Is Mayuri the person who goes to cons and they have a toolkit with them to fix other people's costumes?
Yes. Oh no! Is that confirmation that Mayuri has feelings for him?
My heart says no, but my head says yes. That's what's keeping her from it. I think your heart
just doesn't want it to be true because it would hurt. I feel like Steins Gate wasn't really a romance anime until the end, and I feel like Steins Gate 0 is a romance anime.
Huh. It's kind of switched percentages of romance to sci-fi to to horror. Okay. X-Day Protocol. Oh my god.
Ooh.
I've had a friend like that before. They've talked so much. Please. Ferris's voice actor is
amazing.
Phenomenal.
True.
It's just unsettling.
It is
for me.
A little bit.
Damn. Mr. Braun. He's probably so proud.
You're a legit college student now.
Keep it up, champ. Oh my god. His room. God!
And Santa Claus.
Everybody.
ダル君とユキさん、なんかいいなーって。ふぶきちゃんはない、絶対ないって言うんだけどね。
It's happening.
これを探すのが私とお前の最初のミッションだ。おーきいどき。いい返事だ。
The girl who looked like Karisu, right?
なんだ、ルミ姉さんか。ルミ姉さん？フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。たまには顔見せてくれないとみんな心配するにゃ。期限は明日だからゆっくり食べるにゃ。ダルニャンのタイムマシンの研究の方はどうにゃ？頑張ってはいるよ。簡単ではにゃいか。ごめんね。フェイリスはちょっとこことこの下のフロアを借り上げただけにゃ。
Ah.
だけって本当ルミ姉さんに。
That's incredible.
姉さん、父さん、みんなのためにもオカリンおじさんを必ず連れて行かなきゃ。シュタインズゲートの入り口に。24日？クリスマスイブですか？
That was a really cool way to like give us information.
Yeah. Samaho going to the party. Oh.
ではないですけど。
予定がないということはこの国では恋人がいないと同義だという話だよ。マリロインタロにパートナーは
なんでそんな話になるんですか？
Both of them are trying to set them up.
アムデウスとリンタロがどんな関係性を築いているか君は興味ないのかい？
そういうことではありません。私が心配しているのは。
Tell me.
岡部倫太郎です。
It's like unsettling that she called the second that Mayuri turned around, you know? I'm like, are you listening all the time?
少しくらい平気よ。まだあなたの言った約束の時間まで365秒あるわ。一昨日の合コンではろくに話せもしなかったくせに、こういう時だけ。
なんで？
アプリ落とさずにホイホイ参加。
Oh my god.
聞いてるだけだったけど、リングカップルでオファーの前に逃げるわ。王様ゲームでドン引かれるわ。
もしかして。
もちろんその
Oh my god.
ことになるわね。あとは私との会話もすべてログ化されているから、最初会った時に人のことをクリスティーナと呼んだこととか。
やめろ。
え、なんでクリスティーナ？
しつこいな。
This feels just so uncomfortable.
時間が経つほど入り混じり。
New ones pour in and it all mixes together.
残念ながら不完全な AI であるアマデウスにはその曖昧な記憶の変化、いわゆる忘却はない
The
の。
vagueness is lost.
はぐらかされると気になってしょうがないの。
好奇心も過ぎるといつか痛い目に遭うぞ。
研究者はそのくらいじゃないとやっていけないのよ。
リンタロ
Maho's like hiding her face.
すみません。ところでどうかな、クリスは。
Did you close your app?
不思議な気分ですね。AI なのに。まるで。どうやら面白い話が聞けそうだね。この後大学の施設
Maho's right to be
で
worried.
データを受け取るつもりだけど、こんばんは。時間あるかい？よければ
Oh my
デ
god.
ータを一緒にと思っているのだが。
今日の夜はちょっと友人とクリスマスパーティーの予定が。
パーリー？
Maho's going to a party!
There's no shot like Suzuha recognizes Maho from somebody we don't know in the future, right?
It's possible. Has he been sent up to make sure she's at the party?
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh
no!
god!
Yeah, he's like, how do you get your lab filled with all these girls? Yep.
だが男だ。鈴葉は
On that
Is he
mission.
still like really wrapped up with Ruka being a dude?
騙す
Dirty trick to send the dad up there.
遠慮してしまいそうだから黙って連れてこようって
He looked nervous about tricking her though.
荷が重い任務だな。
Is it possible?
来たダルくんからもうすぐ来るって
Yes!
よーしじゃあみんな準備準備
That might scare Suzuha.
It might.
I don't know if that's a great...
What, surprise exploding
I know,
sounds?
but the music's all happy.
God, look at how cool Daru looks. You're playing it so cool.
Did she tackle her mom?
ようこそすずさん
Ah.
あれ母さんごめんなさいびっくりさせようと思って
And she said mom out loud.
怒りはしないけどすごいねいつものラボとは思えないや
Have to play it cool now.
みんなで飾り付けしたんだよ
Not seeing her eyes. Look at Maho in the background.
そっか遊ぶためにここにいるわけじゃないし
いいじゃないか。それくらい。
そうだよ。みんなでご飯食べるだけだって。みんなが作ってくれたものをありがたくいただけばよいのだぜ。
Hard for her to say no to her dad.
It's hard for me to watch her so reluctant, knowing that in the previous series she was like, I've never had friends like these. I love it, you know? I want her to be able to enjoy it.
Sitting next to mom. Kurisu calling?
おかり
I mean, Ruka's costume really is the best.
It is.
So.
あなたが好きなハリウッド女優にクリスティーナなんちゃらとかいう人がい
Oh my
て
god.
つい呼んでしまった。昔付き合ってた彼女。あいやこれはないわね。ごめんなさい。
待て。
じゃあ付き合ってたの？
え？
沈黙は負けを認めたことを意味するわよ。オリジナルの私を直接、あるいは彼女私ならこう返すからよ。ティーナってつけるなってね。
はいもう少し近づいて
Maho looks
甚だ不本意
so uncomfortable.
ごめんなさい
This is for his personal photo album. That's why Ruka's in it too.
と見てくるね
もしかして今のが正解？
勝手に話を進めるな。
I'm nervous.
Mhm.
答えを聞きたいんだよな。
え？
照れくさかったんだ。
え？
素直に名前を呼べなかったから、あえて茶化した。
それはどうも。
Oh, Mayuri.
なんで赤くなってるんだ？
女の子扱いされるなんて思ってなんかなかったとか、そんなことは決してないからな。
俺はお前のそんなところが。
Mhm.
先輩言ったでしょ。錯覚に陥るって。
And he's
勘
getting
違い
diluted.
しないで。 ここにいるのはアマデウス、マキセ・クリスじゃない。
それは
マキセ・クリスは死んだの。
Is that the
死
funeral?
んだ。彼女はもういないの。岡部さん、ちょっと岡部さん。
Okay, that was Steins Gate Zero, Season 1, Episode 3. It seemed like all the work that he has done, in the past few years, it just feels like he's being hit with all of it again.
He
Right
was,
at the end.
Compartmentalizing. All this time, he was pushing all of those memories of other world lines to the side in that same way that he was reminding everyone else, by saying it was just a dream or your imagination. When Mayuri brings it up when they're on the train together, an episode or two ago, and he's like, oh, it's your imagination.
Yeah.
He was doing that himself, and what he gets hit with here is remembering all of the horrible stuff that happens in the worlds where Kurisu lived.
Out of any person you could have asked in this entire universe to communicate with Amadeus, he is the person who is least equipped mentally for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
especially in this moment, he's
in
so
dealing
raw.
with it.
Yeah.
You want to know what I'm stuck on?
Mm.
What do you think Mayuri is assuming of the situation currently? And how does that interact with what we know Okabe to be going through? Because on the hand of him doing this, on the idea of him continuing this conversation and relationship with Amadeus, I understand. I get it. The amount of shit he has been through.
Mm-hmm. I don't think any person with any amount of therapy could ever be mentally equipped to talk to an AI version of their lost loved one. Their lost, love. I don't think anyone could ever do it without what happens in this episode happening here, where the moment that it's ripped away from them and they're reminded that it's not real once they fell a little too far.
Yeah.
That it hurts them to this point into screaming.
I understand why he's here and why he's doing this, right? I get it from his character. But, going forward, what does it mean? You are not just using Amadeus or this version of Kurisu to rehash and remind yourself of who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
You are creating new memories with this person as if they were Kurisu, but they aren't. The unveiling of the information of why calling her Christina, that's such a fucking dangerous place to be, dude. You're making new foundation with a different version of who you said it to in the first place.
Yeah, it's really interesting, this idea of giving inside jokes to the AI. Giving those very personal, intimate things that are between you and that live person. It's different than what we get. It's a contrast to what we get for the beginning of the episode, which is her seeing Akihabara.
Yeah.
It's so different what the information she's getting from that is. Even with the lab, it was almost like stepping stones.
Yeah.
And you were going a little bit further each time. We get Akihabara looking around, and then we get seeing the lab and looking around, which is a little more intimate, a little more personal, because then she starts to say things like wanting your own spoon and fork, and then an actual personal, intimate detail.
New. A new personal, intimate detail that's being shared with her. That isn't just oh, I can see how this reminds me of the previous Kurisu in the lab, and
Yeah. Exactly.
The fork and spoon is one level of it, because that hits us in a nostalgic area of, oh, the other Kurisu said that. But the development of the Christina conversation.
That was their dynamic.
Yeah.
That was the birth of their dynamic, which was the teasing of each other.
Yeah.
And almost that's what sparked their romantic feelings toward each other. It was that initial moment. and then just on forward, their dynamic, it was just constantly growing and growing into romantic feelings for each other.
So what do you think Mayori's interpretation of this is at the moment?
I mean, I know you had asked that question and then we glazed over it a little bit. And I think that I subconsciously glazed over it because I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Or how to answer that. I think that what they do here with Mayuri in this episode has me like a little bit confused in terms of like trying to articulate exactly what I think is happening or what they're narratively trying to do with that character.
Yeah.
Because all we've really gotten from her of I would say narrative substance in this season so far of Steins Gate 0 is the future shot of her wishing she had done something in the past. That, what we get at the beginning of this episode with this idea of her possibly having romantic feelings for him, because she doesn't deny it, she just says that he likes someone else.
Yeah.
That is very different than saying like, no, I don't feel that way about him, because you could also say that to your friends and then they would stop pushing you. And then this walking away after hearing him speaking to Kurisu.
So like in my mind, I'm interpreting it as like adding on to the bucket of at that moment in time where she didn't slap him, where she didn't take action, she lost him. Like he's gone. And regardless of her lack of knowledge about this Amadeus or Kurisu AI, the thought of him leaving this party for a moment and then being longer than a moment and be talking to somebody who isn't even there, I think would add on to that feeling if I was Mayuri of I lost what I used to know him as.
Right. And you know, deep down part of her might recognize that voice. I mean, we get the shot of her listening in or being there for his original FaceTime with Kurisu.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the headphones on either in that scene. The headphones are a new development in this episode for him to be able to like secretly have FaceTimes with Kurisu. It is possible that deep down, Mayuri knows this voice.
Yeah.
And that
I mean, she's there when they're specifically talking about the name Christina, so it's obviously on the table, but just the level of technology is so far from anything I think Mayuri could like expect it to be, that it'd be such a large jump in theory that Okabe could be talking to an AI version of Kurisu.
I think what I'm trying to say is it doesn't even need to be any actual thought going on. It's all just like internal, deep, subconscious feelings that are happening. Like she probably feels deep down, might not even know exactly why she feels so saddened by hearing this conversation.
Yeah.
But what this conversation is proof that even when she says that he likes someone else, this is like confirmation of he likes someone else so much to the point that like they aren't even alive in this world, aren't even present in this world.
It's taken.
And he's still so taken.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That debate of like what this actually what consciously Mayuri is thinking here.
Yeah.
I have very little idea of what it is because I don't know if Mayuri would have reacted that strongly to it just being a random person he's on the phone with. I mean, I totally can get on board with the idea of like he left this party with all of his friends that he is already kind of separated from.
He'd been gone a long time.
To have a conversation with someone else. I could get how that would be hurtful, but I almost I'm wondering, I guess I'm trying to find something deeper in there that would have made her walk away the way she did.
Yeah.
Instead of like going out there and being like, hey, come back to the party.
Yeah, I get you. I think that the idea that we were given this episode of the Amadeus like being able to listen if their app isn't shut down correctly is one that I like feared of going down. Like I got
slippery
such an
slope. Unsettling feeling after that part. I think that also how assertive AI. I mean, Kurisu was already a very confident and assertive person. And I already had this idea of these before we got into this episode that Kurisu could be AI Amadeus could be intrusive into Okabe's life with this FaceTime ability and the calling.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we see is that Kurisu AI is inserting herself so much into his life that he kind of, it's almost hard for him to put two and two together, like separate, like fake Kurisu, real Kurisu.
For
because
sure.
he's bombarded.
Yeah.
It's hard for, almost can't have a second to like remind himself because as soon as he gets out of class, he has like 5 missed calls.
It's torturous. And the idea of like him having this ability still to be able to interact with it, I don't think a character like Maho would have been okay with it if she knew the extent of information that we do about their relationship in the past. I think that she then would have like deemed it too fucked up for him to try to have this conversation because of how much it would do to him.
Right. It was kind of touched on when she was leading Okabe into the room that they might have had a different type of relationship, Kurisu and Okabe.
But out of the realm of like the world that Maho knows, right? When she's assuming they could have had a different relationship, she could never in 1,000 years assume that the relationship runs through world lines, for example.
That it's,
you know,
this because of all the world lines and because of everything Okabe's done
and remembers
for Kurisu and remembers of Kurisu, that even the original Kurisu would never, hasn't lived through that. She doesn't have the reading Steiner. Okabe's love for Kurisu is crazy deep.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like if he told someone how long he had known Kurisu, like actually in one of those world lines, they would have been like, how do you already love her like that much?
Yeah.
But we've seen it. We know why it's gotten to that level that it has. And this is just a really sad thing that happens here at the end. Maho was worried about him previously.
Maho needs to clean her room, apparently. I'm not forgetting that anytime soon. Maho also got mistaken for a younger age. That was awesome.
Great.
What
That
grade
was
are you in?
great.
One of the best moments this episode is like, oh, especially that one. That one's really sexy. And it's just
That's a
Ruka
dude.
looking like amazing.
A snack.
Yeah. Facts.
Ruka looked so cute. The hat. I loved it.
One of my favorite parts of this episode and the past 3 episodes was the info that we got from the Ferris Suzuha conversation about her renting out these buildings. Like that.
And the roof.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Not
I
only
love
a
it.
floor, but also the roof. I mean, honestly, I'm very happy by that. I'm very happy that the integral characters, the characters that were like so much a part of Steins Gate, even if they don't remember everything like Okabe does, are still very present in this storyline as also being those that are thrown a little off kilter.
I wonder what their involvement in the series will be, though. Like, because they were such a key part of Steins Gate. And this is obviously a slightly different story and a slightly different path. And it's a big difference in future. So it's like their involvement in this Amadeus storyline, I don't know. I have no expectation of if they're going to get more involved, less involved, or it's going to be this like, half distant place that it is now.
It seems like, they're like half distant. They're partially involved in terms of like, we've all been through something that we can't quite put our finger on because we don't have the reading Steiner that has connected us no matter what.
Yeah.
And on Ferris's end, obviously doing something in order to, what she can, what's in her power to help or support. But there's still like a distance there.
When AI Kurisu was talking about her interpretations of memories and like the lack of vagueness because of her being an AI.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
It reminded me so much of Okabe's reading Steiner ability, right?
Yeah, the vagueness is lost, but for him, it's not. Everyone else is feeling that. Is it my imagination? Was it just a dream or a nightmare?
But he's been through so much and so many times that just the amount of time that his mind has gone through and processed, like, is much more than any life could have taken up in the meantime.
But what we're also getting shown in this episode, while we can attach to that idea of like for AI, the vagueness is lost, and then reading Steiner for Okabe, what we also get in this episode that shows and makes Okabe, humanizes him despite that ability that he has, is this idea that traumatically he compartmentalized these feelings and emotions and pushed them away.
Yeah.
And so very human. Like he had all access to all of those memories. There's no vagueness there for him. He knows they're all real, and he can get into the emotions and feelings as if they are real and he lived through them. But he can also, as a human does with tragedy or trauma, he can block them away. He can hide them.
To some extent.
To some extent, but then something is going to bring them back, and it's going to hit you like a truck.
The only way that you could hide them in the first place is getting far enough away from the people who remind you of it on a daily basis, you know?
It's what they also do in this episode is that show us a similarity or compare and contrast is we have the confirmation that Maho AI during the showcase was memories had purposefully been stored away.
Yeah.
So that it would seem more realistic, that vagueness and forgetfulness.
True.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
That idea of memories being, this data is still there.
Yeah.
The data is still being held, but it's just somewhere else.
Yeah. Which they could potentially have access to depending on the intelligent subset AI. We also, this episode got a bit of Suzuha flashback forward things with that redheaded girl who looks like Kurisu.
And an Upa
Upa
that's green with like a leaf crown.
It didn't seem like Suzuha reacted to Maho at all. But I wonder if in the future that Maho's discoveries lead to something that Suzuha could recognize. Like, I wonder if those futures are at all intertwined.
It's crazy. I just need to like bring it up because Kurisu obviously wants it. Is there any possibility narratively that Maho and Okabe could at some point in the future romantically be together?
Maybe.
I don't know if I like would want it necessarily, but
It depends how things play out.
I mean, you can't be mad at people for finding love, knowing that, especially after this scene here, where he's being reminded that Kurisu is dead and he cannot get the real her back, and that this is dangerous, what he's doing. He's already going on group dates. He's aware that he needs to move on
He's
romantically.
shitty at one-liners.
He's shitty at one-liners. Maho is someone who could understand him to some level or degree that Kurisu would, and he might be able to have, like, the types of conversations he had with Kurisu.
Yeah.
It's possible that down the line, working with Maho, that he could, and it could be okay, because I think people, after losing a loved one, totally should be allowed to love again.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's possible for me that they could, but then I'd be like, oh, poor Mayuri. Mayuri has a crush on him. But Suzuha didn't react to Maho, so probably not in this world line.
Because in the future, things don't
She wouldn't know.
Yeah.
She would have been like, that's my aunt. So, yeah. I guess not.
Daru's the best character. He's still my favorite character.
Daru
Suzuha's great too, though.
He's such a dad in this episode.
His
He like
suspenders.
literally screams like father. He is a father.
Yep. I'm surprised his jokes haven't gotten more like dad-like and less perverted. You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.